So you see looming above the battlefield a gigantic fist of Torm. A little worse for wear. There's a bunch of scratches. There's actually a squashed crab in its fist.
I like it.
Like it looks like the fist like grabbed it and crushed it.
Well, you see a lever beside it as well, but there is a crushed crab. Like it looks like the fist. It looks like the fist closed and crushed it. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up 6, walk him over to the fist.
Okay.
And kind of like lay it in front of it and Torm, please. Please help us in our time of need.
Okay.
As he's doing that, I'm trying to pull the lever.
Okay. Give me a religion check.
Me?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a natural 20. Let's see this religion. 24 total.
Okay. So yeah. So as you kneel, you see the fist as Clash pulls the lever. It begins to open. You see the crab pieces begin to slide out of its fist, and it glows, and 6 regains all of its hit points.
Well, it doesn't regain all of its hit points. I have to use a spell slot to bring him back, and I'm not going to.
He just gave it to you, man.
I know, but I'm just trying to keep it fair. But I'll take it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. 6 is healed. And then the fist opens up, and it's kind of an open palm sitting there.
I just kind of rest my hand in its hand, like on the ball of its hand.
Okay.
And then just thank you. And I just kind of keep my head down. I'm like, my pistol is yours.
Okay. It closes and crushes the pistol.
Damn it!
I'm just kidding.
Even my holster.
No. Cool. Yeah. Give me a perception check while you're standing there.
I don't think my perception's that good. What is it? It's a 13.
Okay. Yeah. You see a faint outline. In the palm of its hand, like a square outline.
Can I investigate it?
Yeah. Give me an investigation check.
Hey, I kind of turn around and I'm like, hey, Coin, come here and look at this with me.
You got it.
15 plus a lot. That's a 23, 22.
Yeah. So you notice it's definitely some sort of secret door, but it's locked right now. So if you opened and closed the hand, nothing would happen. But there's a little catch that you can press that basically unlocks the secret door. And you think that if the fist closes, as it closes, the secret door opens, and whoever's standing on the fist would fall into this hole.
So this is probably where the catacombs are. Raijin, you said you know this place. Is this where the bodies may go? As I kind of push my hand over the hole.
Yes, I believe so. Right?
Yeah. You don't know exactly how it works, but you know that there's some sort of mechanism that a body is laid on the open palm, and a prayer is made, and then the fist is closed, and when it opens up again, the body is gone. So you assume that.
Would you think that they put healing potions down in there?
I don't know if they would put healing potions down there, but if they were trying to, if any survivors were trying to hide or find a strong position, this would be our best bets, I would think.
Well, I don't feel like getting crushed today, but
Do you think there's a slide underneath it?
kind of like step back, look.
Yes,
underneath.
yes, I do.
Because that would be fun.
You should try it.
I'm gonna hand a rope, like out of my pelvis, to coin. I'm like, do you care to take the plunge?
Yeah, Coin just nods up and down. He's okay with it.
Give him the rope, set him on the slat, kind of like lay him down. Like, this may only hurt for a second. Clash, hit that switch.
Pull the lever.
All right. So
Yeah.
it's a little terrifying, Coin. You see the fist of Torm begin to close around your body, and it gets tight, like pretty tight, and then suddenly the trapdoor opens. Shoomp! As the fist closes, the rope is immediately cut, and you tumble down a slide about maybe like 15 or 20 feet. You tumble onto the ground into a dark cavern, and you see an arrow fly towards you.
Great.
That's going to be a 7 misses, so it clatters on the ground next to you, and it says, "Halt, foul beast!"
Who are you calling foul, beast?
Who are you calling beast, foul beast?
Shut up, your mom.
The guy says, "Who are you and what brings you here?"
I'm not a devil, that's all that you should care about.
You,
Who are you?
I'm a knight of Elturel.
Well, then help me up.
He says, you see him step out from behind a wall, arrow knocked and his bow string pulled back, and he says, "Get up yourself and take down your hood."
I'm not gonna take down my hood. I'm a fine gentleman.
He says, "Gentlemen, you are not."
You started it.
I yell up the side.
You guys should come down here. There's a funny dude down here.
I will put 6 in there. I will try to Clash. Open the hand. Julian.
I guess I would.
Are doing the sound of one hand clapping with
Yeah,
the
exactly.
fist of Torm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Clash. I don't know if Clash is out or what, but he pulls the lever and it opens.
And then I kind of put 6 in there. Get down, and he goes down there with
Okay.
coin.
Okay, so
You just kind of you see his light from his mouth open up and shine on whatever's down there.
okay, so
Sorry, I
you
was
see.
grabbing a beer,
No,
so,
it's
yeah,
all good.
I pull the lever.
Okay, so you see, so Coin is down there. You see the bowman kind of begin to let off on the bow just a little bit when he sees you're kind of joking. Then he sees this mechanical beast come down the slide and say, "Back up! It looks like it's coming down after you." And he takes a shot. That's
What
gonna
the fuck? It's a puppy.
that's gonna be a nat 20. What does a bow do? What kind of damage? A D8 or something, right?
What kind of bow?
Like
Bow
a,
or long bow?
I think a short bow
1d6.
is a D6, so 2d6. We'll do 2d6 plus 2. 11, 13 damage.
Damn.
It's a 6 and a 5. And then
Takes it,
and then
kind of looks at him and gives a growl.
okay, so he backs up and says, "Move back, small one."
Kind of like Six moves over and kind of like gets a defensive position in front of Coin.
Okay. And Coin, do you say anything?
I'm as far back as I can go. I just came from the slide, you douchebag.
He says, "Is this beast yours?"
It's my friend.
So he says, "Warn me next time." Jeez.
Next down the slide.
I put my hand out and I do a mending on 6.
Okay.
2d6.
Cool.
Yeah, I can roll that here.
I got it.
Oh, I guess I can't roll it because it's
Yeah. So
weird that way.
Raijin, you're next down the slide.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, out tumbles a fully armored bronze dragonborn, and as you stand up, the 2 more bowmen have come up in the meantime, with bows drawn, and as soon as they see you tumble down the stairs and stand up, they go, "Oh, thank Torm. Where have you come from?"
Yeah, you guys better back off. He's got the sparkle hammer.
I'll just be like,
Oh, there are survivors. How many are your numbers?
3 right now, but they're about to be down 1.
I say, I'm not sure on the exact count, a little less than 200. Our main force was pulled away from the sanctuary, but and then we were attacked, so we withdrew down here. How many forces do you have with you?
We don't have any horses.
What do I get? 6? 1. 6.
And
You see Roger.
5 and Coin and you.
6 and 5 and yeah.
Section
If we're counting 6, then 6.
He says, confusing, but I was hoping there'd be more. Where did you hold up?
We've only arrived to the city.
Has it even been a day?
Yeah,
A long rest.
yeah. I took one long rest, so yeah, maybe not 24 hours for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
We've been here almost a day.
thank goodness. Relief force. When are the rest coming?
You're looking at us.
You can see visible disappointment, and say, "Well,
That's a lot of questions from a guy who shoots a puppy.
that is definitely not a puppy."
I'll just be like,
You realize that you're no longer, in the normal world, right?
We realized that we're hoping that some magicians, wizards in Faerun would be able to find a way to get a force to us and give us some relief.
You're looking at us.
They stand us.
Okay, yeah, they say, well, you might as well send the rest of the people down and make sure that I'll make sure the fist is closed after the last one comes down. We're hoping that Duke Ravengard will arrive shortly.
I
who
skitter
that
my
is?
Eldritch Cannon over to him and throw out a THP. It does a little jig, a little circular dance, taps its toes, and
And
hopefully freaks him out before it sparkles.
yeah, you definitely see the bows come up a little bit, and then, thank you. Duke Ravengard was the head of the Flaming Fist in Baldur's Gate. Remember, he was going there.
Yeah,
He was going to Elturel, and you know that he was asked to go to Elturel. Yeah, by Thavius Krieg. So that's why. Oh man, I'm having a problem with names. That's why Clash's boss was in charge of the Flaming Fist when
Zaj.
yeah, Zaj, when you guys arrived in Baldur's Gate.
I'll ask the dude who's in charge Like currently.
Yeah. He says, what's your last name, Rajan?
Tyrannus.
Um, Priest Tyrannus is in charge right now.
Like, my father's alive?
He says, You're Rajan?
Yes.
This is quickly come this way. I'm sure he'd like to see you. And they start down this corridor.
Neat. You guys better get down here. We're going.
Yeah, so the rest of you guys can come down, and one of the guards pulls a lever at the bottom, and you hear the fist close again after the last person has gone down.
When 5 comes down, he goes, ho, ho, ho.
Who you calling a hoe?
I
They
point
shot at your dog.
I lift up my pistol.
Says,
They were cool though.
Go click. And just kind of lift it back up.
okay. Yeah, they say, I'm sorry, you kind of took us by surprise. We're expecting demons, and then this goblin tumbles down with this mechanical beast. You have to understand that we're kind of on edge.
Don't push your luck.
So they kind of hurriedly walk you down this hallway through these catacombs. You see, burial chambers and stuff like that, kind of aligning the walls, and there's side chambers that they take you past, and it's kind of this maze of chambers, and you're led into this large crypt, and you see it full of people. Some are men, women, children, elderly. All of them are you suddenly hear static, and then it all goes black.
Sound like somebody farted.
Yeah. So then as you kind of take in the room, you see a bronze dragonborn standing there in priestly robes.
Kevin, I think it's your mic.
Kevin, is your mic freaking out? Okay, yeah, he muted himself. You see a bronze dragonborn in priestly robes, and he's clutching this big tome to his chest, and he's kind of looking over the crowd, and he glances towards you, and he says, Rajan? And he runs up to you, and he stops short because he's holding this big tome, and he says, where have you been held up? I figured you'd have made it here by now.
So I'll come forward and I'll embrace him.
Okay.
But like,
yeah. So he kind of pulls the tome down to his side. Then when you go to embrace him, and you notice that it's the Creed Resolute that he's holding.
oh, of course it is.
What's that again?
It's the creed that every Elturellian had to sign to be a citizen, that basically sold their soul to Zariel.
Yeah. I'll just be like, I'm glad to see that you're alive and that you've been able to save so many. What happened?
He says, "Oh, it's horrible. Is Thavius with you by any chance? Have you found him?"
Funny story about Thavius. We speak.
What was that? You kind of locked up for a second.
I said that
That's what he did to him.
we should speak in private. There has been some disturbing developments.
Of course. Yeah, for
Say
sure.
that again.
Well, we currently have 221 survivors. It's the strangest thing. It felt like the whole city was collapsing in on itself, and then we arrived here. It seems to be Avernus, plane of hell. We're we're floating above it, and you can hear.
Jesse, you okay?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that was.
good.
Yeah, Jesse
Oh,
was
sorry,
making
I-
like some. Uh, uh, um, he says it seems to be the city seems to be attached to some sort of chains that are slowly pulling it down onto Avernus itself. Maybe even the river Styx. We think it's slow going, and I'm really surprised that we haven't been overtaken already. I think Duke Ravengard probably has some more information. He should be back here shortly. But we, I mean, really, we owe it all to Ravengard. He mustered the troops and the last of the Hell Riders. I'm sorry to say, Raijin, but something happens to the Hell Riders when they die. They turn into beasts.
Yes, we've seen it. It's quite disturbing.
It is. Are you yourself?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, the Duke decided after the first Hellrider died to have them set up a perimeter and search for supplies. So they've been staying out of the cathedral just in case for safety. They all agreed readily. Of course, noble people, the Hellriders. But yeah, I mean, really, Ravengard mustered the troops and brought us down here, or brought us into the cathedral, and we've been holding up. As you can tell, it is begin to our defenses have begun to wane. I'm afraid that we're gonna have to find somewhere else to stay. I mean, we can always pull back into these catacombs, but it's only a matter of time if we stay here more permanently before they find the entrance and mount more of an assault.
Well, we can stay and help protect. Do you know where Ravengard is? Maybe where he went?
Yeah, there was a big force of devils that off to the north, and he went off to fight them. He was supposed to be back 2 or 3 hours ago, but he hasn't returned. Unfortunately, we came under attack while he was out, and our forces were dwindled enough where we had to pull back into here.
Well, we've dispatched some of the devils above, but I'm sure there are no shortage of them that will reinforce.
Yes, I'm sure so. He turns to the two bowmen that were at the bottom and say, "Go upstairs and hide in that spot and he says, send the wizard in training with you and have him send me a message if you see any more come in." One of the bowmen nods and points to this young wizard, maybe like 15 tops, and he kind of looks wide-eyed and says, I'll do my best," and he kind of trots off following the bowman.
Before he leaves,
Yeah.
I want to shake his hand and like say my name, like. Darn.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of gives you like like big eyes for a second.
Do we have any of those books left?
What books?
Oh, the spell books.
Probably.
Sure we do.
Yeah, I'm sure we got.
Yeah, I don't think you sold them or anything.
Use for 'em.
Yeah.
I would say give him some of the spell books. Maybe encourage his training.
Okay. Yeah, so he takes one of the books and he says, oh my gosh," and he kind of flips through and he says, "Oh geez, I don't know these spells, but I will learn. I'll learn them. I thank you." And he kind of clutches it to his chest with his other spell book.
Nerd.
Like look at coin and go, "You're just a coin nerd."
I'll shake his hand again, saying my name, like pointing at me, and then I'll point at him and be like, "Nerd."
oh, he'll say, hold on. He'll say, I'm Key. Key's my name.
That,
Josh, you're
that's what nerds say. Nothing.
I'm muted.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. He says, I'm Key. My friends call me Key.
Oh, Key.
Yeah, Key.
All right, so we can message him if
Oh, okay.
if that.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So as the
And Josh, I just sent you a message on Discord.
did you?
Yeah, on the private chat.
If you click like the little Discord bot home at the very top, you'll see all your DMs.
Do I?
Or no?
I don't see.
Oh, I forgot to hit send.
Send me a text message instead if you want. And
Okay.
I asked the Rygen's father, I'm like, do you have any sick or wounded?
He says, yes, yeah, I've healed some of them, but I'm out of spell slots for the day. Over here, and he kind of points you over to a few people that they're guards that pulled back, and they have various wounds.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of like go over, see what kind of things I can do to help them, heal them, if anybody has fallen, etc.
Okay. Yeah, you heal him up. Yeah, I mean, do you have?
I don't have anything to actually heal them, but like try to like do triage and like put bandages on. Like they'll heal in time.
If we stay long enough for them to take a short rest, I can play a song for everybody. A song of rest.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, so Rygen's dad is like, well, I think it's best for us to hold down here for now, and just wait for the Duke to come back. Feel free, and he kind of points you to like a wall and with like a small empty piece of floor that you guys can sit down at.
Yeah, I'll play something like hymnal, and then if like any of the other people come by and listen, they'll also get that sweet D6.
Okay, yeah. So it's at 30 feet. Is that what it is?
I think it's just anybody.
Just
who-
they don't hearing range.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean
So
the
alpha
catacomb.
rate, not so much.
Yeah,
Anybody who can hear your performance regains hit points at the end of a short rest by spending one or more hit dice.
okay. Yeah, I mean so yeah, you begin to play maybe quietly just for your group, but you can see people kind of listening and yeah, like a quiet kind of falls over the whole room, and just your music comes out, and you see some tears, and also people feel invigorated. Hold on, let me respond to Ethan real quick.
Sorry, I know that was a complicated.
Yeah.
during the break, real quick, John, do the temp hit points go away at any point? Like, is there a time limit?
Or if we're doing a short rest, I
They
think
last until a long rest. THP lasts until a long rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're doing a short rest though, the cannon goes away. You get your THP, I'll max it out, and then it goes away.
What's
Oh,
max?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I kept it.
Max would be 11.
Okay, so as Clash is playing, you you finish up, and you see a figure emerge from the corridor that leads outside. The dark skin, bald head, gleaming armor, and he's got like 10 or 15 guys behind him, and he walks in and says, that was beautiful, Kinku. Who are our new recruits? And you can recognize Clash that it's Duke Ravengard. He's returned.
Nice. I say my name nice and loud.
Okay. Clang. He says, not as beautiful as you're playing, but and he turns to Raijin and says, how what do you call him?
We call him Clash.
I'm visibly sad. I say my name low. I'm like,
Okay.
No one can pronounce your name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Duke says, my apologies. I hope that I may call you Clash. My mouth does not make a noise like that.
yeah, I nod, but I like show him on the lyre, like the interval, and just strum it.
Okay. And he says, someday when we're at peace again, you'll have to show me the lyre, how to play. But thank you for that inspiration. And he turns to Raijin's dad and says, good call pulling back into the catacombs. How many did we lose? And your father says, we lost 6 before we pulled back. Luckily, the last 2 held the gate until we were hidden in the catacombs. And he lists off names as well of the 6.
After they're kind of done with their quick debriefing or whatever, I'm like, is there somewhere private we can discuss
He says,
important matters?
He says, yes, of course. Come this way. And he says, he asked the same thing that's been asked of you 3 times. Like, where have you been held up in El Terrell? We felt like we've searched the west side pretty thoroughly. Were you held up on the east side? What news of that side?
The east side is pretty messed up from what we can tell. We've only arrived yesterday.
I'll repeat the vampire spawns, saying like, this side is not safe for your kind.
Okay, yeah. He kind of says, let's go down the hall and we'll discuss. And he kind of takes you into a side catacomb. There's dead bodies, along the walls. He kind of leans against a preparation table that he's kind of taken over. You see kind of maps of El Terrell with like X's through buildings and kind of lines drawn on it. And he says, "So you're from Faerun? You didn't come here from Avernus?"
No, we were briefly in Baldur's Gate, then traveled to Candlekeep where some wizards sent us here.
He says, "What if Baldur's Gate is it okay? Is it in peril like El Terrell?"
They started partying when you guys left.
He kind of gives Coin like a stern look, and says, "There's times for jokes later."
Baldur's Gate is currently dealing with the refugees of those who survived the fall of El Terrell, as it were, but it is intact as we left it.
You can kind of see him visibly kind of relax his shoulders, and he says, Good news. Well, as you can tell, we've been holding up here since it fell. It's been rough. We're fortunate in a way. After our arrival, a rather large war broke out between the demons and the devils down below. We've had to fend off stragglers that have made their way up here, but the numbers have actually been a lot lower than we've thought. We would be in a lot better shape if not for what you ran into on the east side. We've come to an unspoken agreement, I would guess, but I would say the evidently the companion did not destroy the vampires as we had thought, but just drove them underground, and they were brought here when Elturel fell, and now that there's no fear of the light, they've emerged and taken over most of the east side of Elturel. Unfortunately, the east side holds our siege stores, and they've taken up refuge there.
We've
Where are your siege stores?
He says they're in the. He says we keep a month's supply in the. Where is that map? I thought it was labeled. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head now. He lists off like a square, like a market square that Raijin is familiar with, and he says we keep it under wraps just for protection, but it's stored underneath the whatever with the East Market.
Arrow's Market.
Sure.
This is something you need.
We can always retcon it.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just looking at a map of Elturel, and the closest market is Shahara on the east side.
so it's like a. Let's see if it'll. Yep, that is it. Yep.
Is this something you need freed or opened?
He says he kind of looks around and he says, as you can tell, we've held up in the high hall, but unfortunately it's a beacon for all devils and demons. It wasn't the best place for us to retreat to, but it was the only place that we could find that was defensible. Once we found out the vampires were still here, he says we have meager stores. We've been searching buildings on the west side to gather what food we have, but if we want to sustain the people we have here, we'll need that store.
I'll make the sound of like the crabs chittering and like mime like eating.
Oh, so it's like
Can you eat the crabs?
he says, the crabs that we saw upstairs. Yeah, some of my men are harvesting it. Unfortunately, they won't last long with 200 and some odd people.
Did we bring anything with us we can give them? I gave
I
all
mean, we
my
probably have like
rations away.
maybe a week or two of rations for us.
Yeah.
Gave all my rations away to those people who were on the east side. I would like to go back to get them.
But they do have like clerics and stuff like that, right, Josh?
Yeah. Yep.
I can like lay out like some of the spell components that I bought before we came.
Okay.
Like I bought 600 gold pieces of undetermined spell components.
Okay.
So I don't know, like maybe they need some stuff for like reviving people and stuff.
Okay.
Or create food and water.
Yeah, create food and water would be the big one.
Yeah, I mean that's the bad part about D&D, right? Like those kind of spells kind of like break this kind of stuff, but yeah, like
Not
I mean-
to make it harder, but you could rule like it doesn't work in Avernus.
yeah, I mean I think it works, but there's just not enough create food and
I
water
mean, so
to
create
support
food and water
200
is a
people.
third level spell, so they would need minimum 5th level clerics.
Yeah, and I
there's
think
probably only like 1, maybe 2 of those.
yeah, and create food and water feeds how many people?
So it creates 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water, which is enough to sustain up to 15 humanoids for a day.
Yeah, so it's not enough. So
Not
it need
enough.
so it's
I mean,
they're supplementing with
like,
that,
they
but
could-
yeah,
yeah, they could like ration it so that they don't completely starve to death.
yeah,
But I mean, it's not going to be, it's not going to last them very long.
yeah,
It spoils if uneaten after 24 hours.
yeah, and it would
I mean, we
definitely,
don't have to worry about that.
yeah, it would definitely be
We need to-
80 times.
We need to get back across. I mean, we left those dwarves or whatever they were. We should probably go get them as well and say that the path is clear up to this point
Yeah.
and let them know about the fist.
So
How
he
about the rest
kind
the
of
tower?
he's kind of in thought as you guys are kind of discussing amongst yourselves about what to do next, and he says, "If you're willing, I have a task that you might be able to help me out with."
What's that?
He says, "I've discovered the location of a relic. It's a helm. It's called the Helm of Torm's Sight." He says, "It's been rumored that this will provide divine sight that might help us in our battle here on El Terrell. I discovered its location from." He points to Raijin from your father. It's in a hold on just a second. It's in the Grand Cemetery on this side of town. Unfortunately, there's been some very strange happenings over there, and I haven't had the forces to commit to investigate it. If your group would be willing, I would send you there first. It might provide us insight into how to handle the vampires.
Shouldn't we clear your hull to make sure there's no more devils or
Yeah, he
demons did fight that they're not here as well?
yeah he said that I've dispatched some of my forces to clear the rest. So it looks like you've been through quite the battle, and you should definitely rest now.
Do you have I know Raijin was saying there's a lot of secret halls and stuff like that. I mean, we're here in the catacombs. Is there any way we can get there faster? Not going through town?
He says, unfortunately not. I know of no way. The sewers would be an option, and we've investigated them. Unfortunately, with all the earthquakes, most of them have completely collapsed. We've had no luck at all trying to navigate through the sewers.
Very well.
I want to turn to Raijin, and I'm sure you said this when we met him, but in your voice say Thaddeus Krieg.
Yes, I was hoping to get to that.
Yeah, he says, yes, it's very strange. These people have a lot of hope in Thaddeus Krieg, but I have my doubts. I arrived here in El Terrell a few hours before this happened, and Thaddeus was supposed to meet me, but he was not here, and I have not found him anywhere in all of our searchings.
We have some disturbing news.
You
and
have some disturbing news.
it's the royal we. I don't.
We go live to a report or to a recording of Davey.
I'll turn to my father and see if I'll ask for him to give me the Creed Resolute.
Yeah. He hands it over.
And I'll be like, Davius, Xavius has betrayed us all.
Your dad kind of gives you a look like, how, and Duke kind of crosses his arms and leans back like, let's hear it.
I don't claim to understand it all, but he made some sort of deal with Zario. It involves this and the companion, and from my understanding, he sold the souls of everyone in El Terrell, everyone that signed a Creed Resolute for the companion for 50 years. And, well, the time is up.
Like your father kind of looks at that tome in a completely different light. He almost shies away from it, and the Duke says, he kind of shakes his head and he says, "I always knew that there was something strange about Krieg. That it just seemed too convenient that he just did a simple prayer to Torm and the companion arrived. It just never rang true to me. It's believable. It's believable to me.
The guy didn't have his head on right.
Pun totally intended.
So he says, so where's Thavius now?
I assume he's
Probably here.
what's left of his soul is here. I killed him.
The Duke nods his head and says, understandable and completely justified. And he turns to your dad and says, agreed. And your dad kind of looks at you again, like I don't think he's ever looked at you like you were innocent or anything like that, but he kind of looks at you in like a way of like, you've seen some shit, that kind of look, like, oh crap, you're not.
This isn't my son that I left a week.
Yeah,
or two ago.
that just joined the Hell Riders and was rip roaring and ready to go.
I mean, before this, you'd never killed anybody, right?
Probably not. No.
I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I'm sure I'd gone on some guard missions or helped with some minor arrests or something, but never just
like a military action.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always the Hell Riders are always kind of sent out around El Terrell, and maybe you were on training missions, but nothing.
Type,
yeah.
Missions or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely gone past my first blood.
Oh yeah, and he kind of looks at you with that look, and kind of gives just a nod, and says, yeah, justified.
Coin looks at the general consensus going on and goes,
Boy, I wouldn't want to commit any misdemeanors in your town.
But I'll kind of hold the tone, and be like, I don't know if this will hold any answers, or if this is cursed, if we could even destroy it, but I don't think that would do much. If this was some sort of devilish contract, I don't know what we would do to break it.
Yeah. So yeah. Your father says, I'll have some clerics look at it and see what we can come up with, but I honestly can't believe that all these years that everyone that has signed this has damned themselves. Your father turns to Duke and says, I guess that's why the Hell Riders turn when they die, and Duke kind of nods his head and says, I would agree to that. Rajan, I'm sorry. Your other Hell Riders I've had to dispatch and keep away from the civilians. I don't know if you've seen it yourself or if your father has filled you in, but unfortunately,
we've seen what happens, and it's understandable. We wouldn't want those things to happen around innocents. And like during this time, I'm gonna put the book down on like a table or something and I'm gonna kind of flip through it and see if I can try and find like my name.
Okay. Yeah. It's towards the back.
Can you erase your name out of the book?
That's actually what I was wanting to try and do. Like either like cross it out or see if I can like unmark it or like something.
Yeah.
See what happened to Fabius' name. Maybe his name has been removed.
So yeah, which name do you look at first?
So I would assume Kriegs would be like the first name,
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I would look at that first and see like is his name still there?
Yeah, you see like a dark like splotch where his name used to be, like almost like it looks like it was stained with like a black stain, and it's been blotted out basically.
Okay. And then like as I flip through, I want to see if I can see any other names that have been like blotted out, like maybe like any of the Hell Riders that have died or something like that.
Yeah, so you would know that when an Elturellian dies of whatever reason, that in the Creed Resolute a small line is crossed through the name. So the first part of the creed, there's a lot more. Yeah, and then as you get further along, there's less.
Like Kriegs is the only one that's like blacked out.
Yeah, but as you are thumbing through, you see some names that they have like almost like a different ink color, and it almost seems like it glows a little bit. As you're trying to, as you're looking through, you quickly realize that it's all the Hell Riders. And as you arrive at your name, you see yours is in this red ink as well.
Okay. I want to try and just rip the whole page out of the book.
Okay. So you go to rip the page, and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Con save. That is a 18.
Ooh. Okay. So you take half of this. Oh man, that's pretty low. So you take 9 slashing damage. So as you begin to try to tear, you feel like your shoulder begin to try to feels like it's like ripping out of joint, and yeah, burns, and your shoulder begins to bleed, and you see like a trickle of red run down the page.
Cool. I'll like stop and like, yeah, that's definitely cursed.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, your father kind of gets wide-eyed as well, and says, "Rajan, please, don't. I would not want to risk your life for this. Let our clerics look at it."
Does anybody ever move curse?
I look at Rajan bleeding from the shoulder and I go,
No wonder he doesn't swing his hammer.
Reminds me of those muscle men like back in the
Can't
day
even
that used to
tear a
like
piece of paper.
rip a phone book in half or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get a chance to, because I looked and it doesn't require like any special ritual or anything. I want to use sending to try and send a message to Sim.
Okay.
To say like, found survivors in temple, underground, need food 200.
Okay. And so there if it's a different plane, it's a 5%
that it
chance that it fails. Okay.
Yeah. You want me to roll the
I'll-
chat?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ho-ho!
Okay. So yeah, you hear the familiar voice of Sim. Oh, thank goodness! I'm glad the spell worked. We'll try to come up with something, but it's not going to be any time. And I think that cuts off.
All right. Yeah.
I'll just be like, we need to ensure that we protect this tome, and yes, have the clerics examine it, see if they can uncover any secrets we could possibly find. This, again, I don't know if this would help at all with the situation, but can't hurt.
Okay. Yeah. So your father kind of gingerly almost picks up the book and holds it, and he says, "I'll get to work on it right away." And he kind of gives you like a hand on the shoulder and cure wounds you. What is it, 2d8 or something, or is it 1d8?
It doesn't even matter. It only took THP damage. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm not even like. Well, I'll take the cure wounds. So I'm down some like actual.
Okay.
So
Take.
The D8 for first level.
Okay.
D8
He'll
plus
do.
wisdom modifier.
He'll do second level, so it's 2d8, so 8, 9, so 12.
Rajin,
12 hit points.
sorry about your
Oh.
shoulder. I could have cast Identify on that stupid piece of paper.
that's okay.
Are we able to sit and gather our
Spell slots.
Yeah. So
gather our endurance before heading off to this graveyard?
yeah, he kind of like chuckles and he says, "Of course, I wouldn't expect you to go out in the state that you're in. Please." And he
What state is that, puppy killer?
he kind of just gives you like this dark look and continues on. He does not have a sense of humor. And he kind of leads you down another corridor into another catacomb. He says, "Feel free to take your leave here, and just let me know before you head out, and I'll have an escort take you a couple blocks and make sure you get on your way."
Very well. I will pull out my rope from my hip, kind of like put like this weird like grappling hook on it. I kind of like look around, and I find like a little ledge, and I throw the rope up on it.
Okay.
And I say, "Everybody up and in," as I cast rope trick.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Before we get into that, I would want to like get like a map of the city and figure out like where we know that's been like cleared out, if at all, where we've got like the biggest contention of vampires, devils, whatever. If like any places that they haven't cleared that there may or may not be survivors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, Duke will definitely spend time with you if you want to, stay up with him for a little while before you get your long rest, and he'll kind of show you, we've pushed into this area, we've cleared all these buildings of supplies, but then we were forced to move back. So this area is unsafe. This area is good to go. Like we regularly send troops in, and we've been able to hold it back. And while he's talking to you about it, he says this grand cemetery, it's very odd. There's a very large contingent of undead there. They're strangely enough not outwardly hostile. They're only they only attack if attacked first. But we have seen some of the undead attacking demons. It's very odd, and I'm a little nervous about it. So when you
Has anyone able to communicate with them?
No, we have not. They seem to the warriors that have fought them like regular undead zombies, skeletons, the sort. But they've no,
They're
speaking.
attacking the devils and whatever, and they're not attacking unless.
Yeah,
provoked.
the demons. We haven't seen them attack devils.
Okay. But they haven't attacked like your men or whatever.
They have only when they were attacked first. We thought that they were hostile at first because some of our troops attacked first. We later found out, but they were cornered. Another group were cornered, and they killed the demons that had cornered them, and then left them alone. Strangely enough.
That's strange but useful information.
Yes. And he kind of taps you on the shoulder, and he says, "I'm glad you're here. I think you're going to be a great asset, and I appreciate all the help that you and your group has made. I have a feeling that I might not have made it in time if you hadn't arrived."
We're happy to help, and we're glad you've been able to do for the people here what you have.
He says it's the least I could do. He says, "Go get some sleep. We'll talk about it when you've had some rest." And he says, "I'll see if I can gather some supplies as well. See what we have that we might be able to lend aid to you."
Much appreciated.
Yep.
And then I'll go into the rope trick and take a long rest, and
Okay.
I'm gonna go get more beer.
Cool. Actually, I think this is probably a good place to stop. Let's just stop here because there's not a good place to stop, and it's 9:30, which is a little early, but I think we'd be okay stopping here.
Works for me.
But everyone gets to level up to level 6. So welcome to level 6.
Yay!